People who share a passion for entertaining form relationships that transform the ordinary act of eating into simple elegance. Together, they provide an atmosphere that not one of them can create alone. Food and friendships are woven into the best adventure stories of all time. This is the tale of four friends who love European cuisine and cultivating ambiance, whose common interests and varied talents come together to create a stylish dining experience that excites all five senses. Welcome to Sensual Dining.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Sullivan. I'm really excited to introduce to you four of my friends whose creativity and camaraderie can bring old world elegance to any dining situation. This eclectic group gets together each week and combines their talent of entertaining with food, music, and decor. So sit back, relax, and take a few notes on how to transform your dining room into a sensual dining experience. Here to talk to me about how to set up a sensual dining experience is Celeste and Pam. Celeste loves to decorate and is an accomplished pianist and vocalist.
Thank you.
And Pam loves to decorate and has a passion for table settings and creating floral arrangements as well. Their husbands, Jock and Ricardo, the chefs, are busy cooking and will join us later. Welcome, Celeste and Pam.
Hi, thanks so much for having us.
Great.
Good to see you again, Celeste. Stephanie.
Thank you. So tell me, Celeste, how do you start to create your sensual dining experience?
Well, first I want to consider making my friends or my guests comfortable. I want to bring a sense of comfort to the dining experience. And then I love combining colors and fabrics and different textures like cotton and linens, wools, jacquards, and giving a layering effect to create dimension, warmth, something that's inviting and fun.
Great. Ladies, what are your favorite color combinations?
Well, I like the blue and the golds, and I can alternate them around the table, maybe placing the gold runner down the center of the table, accenting with the gold and the blue napkins. Maybe for a more elegant look, you can use your gold chargers with your white plates and your gold napkins with a gold rimmed goblet.
It's quite beautiful to the eyes.
Celeste, what are your favorite color combinations?
Well, I'm crazy about bright yellow and purple, as you can see from some of the dishes here in the back, and I love to layer as many colors together as possible. I think it's very stimulating, adds a lot of interest, and brings an appetite, a real appetite to the dinner table.
Ah.
And that's what we want.
Now, what about accents, Celeste?
Well, I often choose things from my home. I go through my rooms like my bedroom or the bathroom, and I choose pieces from my home. For example, this is one of my favorite little figurines, this wooden rocking horse. I'll put that in a centerpiece in the table. One of my perfume bottles to give a little accent, and just a necklace that's in one of my jewelry boxes, and I like to put that out on the table too. It just adds a little bit more fun and intrigue to the dining experience.
Beautiful. Now, I know that you have small dinner parties and also have catered large events. How do you go about, what do you do to ensure that your guests are always comfortable?
Well, we want to bring an attitude of openness and generosity and fun to the party. You know, we want to have everybody comfortable, relaxed, and have that fun setting.
Great.
Yeah.
What about seasonal colors?
Well, if, for example, the holiday season's on us right now, so as Pam was mentioning the blue, we like to mix the blues and the golds and then bring, just some of the purples together with that, and you can actually put a lot of colors at a seasonal time to make it far more interesting.
Great. So we've talked about comfort and color and texture, so that's very important to add to the sensual dining experience.
We think so.
Great.
Makes it more interesting and fun.
Great. Well, Celeste and Pam, I'd like to thank you for the ideas and tips that you've brought for us about comfort, color, and texture.
You're welcome.
And we're going to get ready to go to a break.
Are your kids getting enough art? Where's the music? I don't hear any. Arts programs are being cut, making it hard for my kids and yours. Arts education is important, so it goes. Fight for it, because the less arts kids get, the more it shows. Rapping, painting, or creating music, arts education is key. How's that, Mom?
Remember what I told you, Chuck. Less bebop and more hip-hop.
Art. Ask for more. AmericansForTheArts.org.
Welcome back. You know, we're going to be talking about ambiance, which is flowers, lighting, and music. Pam is also very passionate about table setting. Pam, can you please tell us what your favorite decorating elements are?
Well, Stephanie, I want to bring creativity to the table and fun and excitement and where you want to just sit down at the table and you want to relax and you want to stay there all night. So sometimes I'll go with an elegant, more elegant look and use your fresh flowers because of all the fragrance and the aromas and of the flowers, and lots of candles. Obviously, you see a lot of candles because they set the mood, and they also give different effects of your lighting. They give you different lighting effects. And
Okay. So how do you use candles and overhead light together?
Well, I think that it's best to start with the lighting that you have and decide if that's going to work for you. If you have a dimmer switch, you can turn it down and create the mood of intimacy that you want. If you don't like your lights, you can just put as many candles out there as you want and get that romantic feeling going. For example, for a festive party, if you're going to be in your backyard, you can put colored lights, sparkly lights out there, and just have a fun, festive environment. And that's very stimulating to the senses and the eyes. It's very appealing.
Ah, thank you. Pam, do you use scented candles?
well, I prefer the unscented candles because you already have the fragrance of the flowers and the food, different food aromas.
Right.
So I try to stay away from the scented ones. We also use the table lamps. They don't leave wax on the table. They are self-contained, and they just set a nicer, more intimate mood. You can also take, if you don't have any candle holders, you can take one of these candles, turn your glass upside down, and there you are.
Wow, very creative.
So we just have different, just any type of candles you have around the house, just go for it.
Exactly.
Great.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about the centerpiece. If it looks like you've mixed candles and flowers together.
Well, for this setting, I use the Casablancas, the ferns, the baby's breath, and then you can add a candle in the middle, like that, to make it more elegant. Or you can put them on the side, you know, spread them out on the side. If you don't want to make an arrangement, you don't have time to make an arrangement, you can place some rose petals in the center of the table, put the candles around it, and still have that beauty that you're looking for. Let's say for the holidays, you don't want to use the fresh flowers. You take Christmas branches, intertwine them together, add some pine cones, some berries, just Christmas ornaments, bulbs, anything you want to use. Put a hurricane in the middle, and there you are. You have an arrangement.
Fabulous.
Exactly.
So,
Now, how do you work together to create a theme?
Well, Pam may come up with an idea that she wants to experience, a season or a certain theme, and then I'll interject the colors that I may want to have with that theme. And then Jacques and Ricardo will sit around and discuss what type of meat that they would want to serve for the main course. And out of that, we just start blending our ideas together. I think it's very harmonious, and we just get very excited about what we're creating for each other. So out of our own talents and the sense of wanting to give to each other, we create our theme out of that.
Great. How is ambiance created?
Well, ambiance is an intention, I think, that we have in our hearts, that we're thankful for what we have. We feel grateful for the gifts we have given, and we impart that sense of thankfulness. So when our guests come to the table, we're happy, and it shows. I mean, it's very evident in our attitude, and that makes everyone else feel open and ready to receive and also give of themselves at that experience.
We want them to feel relaxed. That's the most important.
Exactly.
We want them to stay there for hours.
Yes, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
Aren't you relaxed now?
How do you balance, as you're an accomplished pianist?
Thank you.
And how do you balance performing in a group when you've got the group to entertain? How do you do that?
Well, I really listen to my intuitive sense about when is the right time. I definitely have a sense to know that, and I'll go over to the piano and start playing. And actually, Stephanie, I feel deeply connected to the guests at the table. I believe that my music enhances the food, enhances the flavor, because music is a path to your soul, and it opens up all of your senses to experience them to your fullest.
And if you have the background music, it just adds, the softness, and it also adds to the conversation
Exactly.
at the table.
Very
Exactly.
nice.
Yeah.
Great.
Sometimes if you don't have a piano, like sometimes we don't have a piano around, we'll be in someone's home and we bring CDs, we bring our favorite music, or we invite a good friend of ours to come and play a guitar or flute or anything like that to add to that experience.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas on ambiance and the beautiful flowers and music.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Section. We're going to go to a break and we'll be right back.
Mrs. Abruzzo, I'm here with the Neighborhood Watch.
Yes!
Yeah. Oh, no.
We won!
I'm signing up people for the Neighborhood Watch.
You made our dreams come true. You have your cameras here? Where are you going, Mr. McNair?
I'm going to
Ed?
check with the lady next door. Yeah,
Are you
thank
going to get the check?
Start a Neighborhood Watch. It's just one of the many ways you can help make America stronger. To find out how, call or log on for this free guide.
So, son, what'd you do in school today?
Well, first I went to spelling, and then that was over. And then study hall, and then that was over. And then it was lunchtime, so I went to lunch. And then I ate it, and then lunchtime was
The less
over.
art
Then
kids
we had
get,
recess, and then that
the
was
more it
over.
shows.
And school was over, and now I'm here.
Are yours getting enough?
Sounds like yesterday.
Art. Ask for more.
Welcome back to Sensual Dining. I'm your host, Stephanie Sullivan. Our little group has expanded. We have Celeste and Pam, and now we have Jacques Rousseau and Ricardo Scazzo.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jacques is from Belgium, and he's a certified chef. And Ricardo is his Italian, his heritage is Italian.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you.
And he grew up around food. Now, the last section we were talking about ambiance and how that has a big play to the senses. Now we're going to be talking about the food and the menu choice and the preparation and the presentation. So, what senses does food bring to the table?
Well, it fills in a joy of being with your family and having a good meal together, so you can actually enjoy each other's company and also enjoy the meal, which is a big part of the festivity of having your meal together with the family and friends. So it's a feeling of comfort and joy. pretty much.
Great. How are your menus coordinated with the decorating themes?
Well, we'll usually sit down with the ladies and we'll talk about the subject that we're going to choose, and then they'll come up with a theme and we'll fill on with the menus, and we'll talk about food, and we'll also use the seasons, see what, if asparagus are in season, for instance, we'll go ahead and use fresh asparagus, because of course everything that's in season tastes a lot better than hot house grown or grown somewhere where they don't belong, pretty much. So we're just going to go ahead and work from there out with what we have, and we try to create meals that are very exciting that way.
Great. Ricardo, do you have any input on that?
Well, you know, it's totally the plate. That plate jumps at you. You know, the colors, like this plate. I'm looking at this plate right now. I mean, I could just jump right into it. I mean, it just absolutely looks delicious. You know, that's what we try to bring to the table. You know, we want the food. I mean, the decorations of the table. The wines. I mean, everything about it is just elegant. I mean, it really, and that's what we look for. So week after week, this is what we try to create, and we usually do. We talk over different menus, something that we would like to prime rib. Okay, we'll make a roll-up out of it or whatever, but just constantly talking about different ways that we can just kick these plates up to where they just jump out at you. So that's what we try to do.
Always very exciting to try something new.
And it's fun.
And experiment with the food. It's a lot of fun.
And Pam and I have a lot of ideas that we drop on them, and they
That's right. The
they
last minute that
expound
they
on
created.
it. They're amazing what they come up with when we just come up with a little thought. It's
Well,
great.
it's that constant talking about it. It's you know, when you love food, it's easy, and we have lovely wives that can create a table and bring it to us. That it just brings it out in us. We just bloom from it. You know, it's so easy to put a dish together. At one time you say, well, it didn't matter, but it does matter. I mean, the food actually tastes better when it's presented better. It really does. Well, it tastes better to me anyways. How about you, Jacques?
It always tastes good. It always comes out really, really nice.
I don't think there's anything left on our plates when we're done.
That's true.
Not really, exactly.
It's very enjoyable, absolutely enjoyable to put it together. And we do make a lot of fun out of it. We really do
The
make
two
fun
of these
it.
joke so much in the kitchen when they're together, and they spend hours in there, and they just their energy just it grows and grows as they're preparing.
They have a lot of fun.
It's all about fun. You know,
right.
we all eat. You know, I mean, this is the thing. Why not have fun and eat?
Yeah, and make it enjoyable, make the food enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Great. Now, how do you go about preparing the ingredients? Do you do it in advance or as you go? How does that all come into play?
Well, after the menu is put together, after we talk it over, whether it's the four of us or two of us, but usually it's four of us, we get the menu put together, and then we naturally do our shopping and whatever, and then we'll get together and start preparing the vegetables, the meats, so on and so forth. The meats would be first, making sure that if we had a marinade, whether it be a rub on our roast, that we do that a couple of days in advance. Like in this case with the Cornish game hens, the Cornish game hen has been marinating for about 2 days in different fruit juices. But everything was done, the potatoes, the string beans was done the day before. So making the fun of putting a meal together a lot more enjoyable. Because then you can get more creative when you're putting the plates together. You can think more about the garnish, you know, whether you want to use sliced apples or dill weed or so on and so forth. But having that prep done ahead of time is just so important for the end results.
It also gives you more time when you have all your preparations done ahead of time to enjoy the time at the table with your guests, and then you don't have to run around erratically in the kitchen to get everything finished.
And believe me, Pam and I do not go in the kitchen when they're preparing the food.
No, we don't. For us.
No, that's off limits. That's our area.
That's right.
It's what we call our battle zone. Sometimes you'll see knives flying all around and pots and pans, and it makes a lot of fun.
Our job is to relax. Yes.
That's great. Teamwork.
And it's fun. And by doing that preparation ahead of time, at least as you're putting this meal together, you know, Jacques and I usually talk about maybe some different flavor that we need to to do the next time or whatever. But as we're putting it all together, you know, everything's cleaned up. You don't have the big mess. You know, we're just totally, you know, zeroing in on our food. You know, and can't wait to sit down and enjoy the nice plate of food and a good bottle of wine. Maybe a good 2 bottles.
Yeah.
Or three.
And maybe we can taste some of the wines with the food before we even serve it. No,
That happens.
That's always a good idea. Yeah.
A few bottles missing.
Yeah. Well, you have to make sure that the wine is there and that it's good.
Yeah, one for me, one for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You mean bottles, right?
Right, exactly.
So what are some of the tips to make a presentation of the meal more interesting?
Well, you want to look at the background of your plate. If you're going to use a white plate, you want to go with very colorful vegetables or anything else that's colorful on your plate, and decorate your plates with the vegetables. Of course, like in this case, you can use a colored plate, then you can keep your food a little more simple when it comes to decorating, because you actually use your plate as a backdrop. So you'll use your plate as a canvas that already has color on it. All you do is adding the little accents with your food.
And as your plate gets busier, your food gets a little simpler, because you don't want it to be too busy. You know, we don't want somebody to think that there's something on the plate that they can eat and they can't. You know, a piece of fruit or whatever. So we don't want to make it too busy. So that's why we go with stripes or the solids. It makes the food. It just brings the food right out. And a white background plate, as you can see the one standing right there, that even brings the food out a little bit more. The white background. You know, so, but you got to make that food look exciting. It is important to make that food. I find it's like washing a dirty car. All of a sudden you wash it and it runs better. Well, this tastes better when you put it on the plate properly. So it's absolutely exciting. Presentation.
It's all about
Absolutely.
Presentation.
Absolutely. And you got to have a little flavor and smell in the kitchen too. Sometime you'll cook a little bacon so somebody smells something, or maybe have a fake cake in the oven, so that brings a little flavor, a little smell, a little sense, But it's important to have something going. You know, like years ago, my mom used to put cinnamon on the stove and just let it perk, or some orange slices or lemon slices in water. So when everybody walked in, something was going, something smelled good. They didn't know what, but everybody was ready to eat. And that was exciting. Absolutely exciting.
Well, it's always very appealing. Everything they create is always appealing to the eyes and also tastes fabulous.
Now, where do you get some of your menu ideas?
Now, both Richard and I have a very substantial background in the kitchen, so a lot of it we take out of our professional life, and we'll start changing menus that we have, or we'll add something to it. A lot of times in magazines you can find good ideas for menus. Anywhere, cooking shows, for instance, are a great source of information. The internet has become a great source of information, so pretty much anywhere you can think of, you can find ideas, menus that are ready for you, that already come with the recipes. Probably a lot of cookbooks also have a lot of menus ready for you to go with the recipes in there, and that would make your life a lot easier if you can go that way.
And I'm sure you too have a lot of favorite recipes that you use over and over again, right?
And a lot of secret ones.
Well,
We don't even know about them.
It also comes from, as you spend more time in the kitchen, we have fun at it. So we want to learn more. I'll learn from Jacques will learn from me, but I have, 5 years experience in the Navy cooking. So once you get to know food, once you get to know spices, once you get the feel of what everything does with what that does to a cook. If you're going to glaze this, well, what will that do to it? Well, it's going to make it taste a little bit sweet, so you throw a little lime in there or whatever. So once you get the flavors out of the foods you use, we all use basically the same foods every day. I don't care who we are. So once we get that going, we can just keep building menu after every time. It's great.
And it makes it fun to play with recipes as well.
Absolutely.
You can go anywhere. The sky is the limit. Just don't be afraid of using spices or something you've never used before, and just go ahead and just experiment with it. the worst thing that can happen to you is you have to throw it in a trash can. So
Or feed it to the dog.
Or feed it to the dog. You could do that as well. I wouldn't recommend it. The poor animal might have indigestion, but
Might have a little problem.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, well, it's almost time to say ciao bella. So does anyone have some final tips for dining in the moment?
Have fun at it.
Absolutely.
There is nothing more important than having fun. It's already stressful enough in your daily life to go to your job and get stuck in traffic and, just play with it. Food is there to be enjoyed. Everybody has to eat. Just have fun. That's all I can recommend.
And stay in the moment. Enjoy the experience. Don't think about tomorrow, what you have to do in 2 hours from now, but just stay in the moment so that you can taste everything and hear everything and feel everything around you and just take it all in because it's the best moment that you have.
Like all the senses.
Exactly.
Sensual dining.
I say be creative with your, let's say, your table, and put a lot of candles on because you want to be relaxed. You want to sit there for 4 hours.
That's right.
So this is what you're here for. This is what we want to bring to the table. A form of relaxation and creativity and fun and good food.
Yay.
And beauty.
Thank you. Take that time in your shopping experience. Read things. Look at the back of what suggestions dillweed might have on it. There's a lot of tips in the grocery store. There's an awful lot of tips.
Great.
So take that time in the grocery store and say, hey, I'd like to try this.
Great, so
get
time.
creative in the grocery store. Most people, I've been in the grocery business for years, and most people just run through the grocery store because they have to get out.
Great,
but if you
thank
take
you,
time, there's
Ricardo.
a lot of things that you can.
Well, that's all we have time for the show. We hope you've received some good ideas for transforming an ordinary meal into your own sensual dining experience. After all, what could be better? Connecting great friends with great people.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'd like to thank my guests, Celeste and Pam and Jacques and Ricardo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you for sharing all your passions and creativity with all of us. And I'd also like to thank the Del Mar TV Foundation for making this program possible. And until next time, bon appetit.